What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Magazine Collector. I'm Brad. Today, we're going to count down the top Sports Illustrated covers of the 1960s, starting with numbers 40 through 21. All right, today I'm going to continue my series of counting down the top Sports Illustrated covers from each decade. And let me just say, wow, the 1960s were a lot harder to rank than the 1950s. With the 1950s, first off, it started in 1954, so I only had 6 years to deal with. Not to mention that Sports Illustrated did a lot of covers in the 1950s that really weren't even focused on major sports. They had a lot of just random issues like of hunting and oh gosh, I don't even know. There's like scuba diving and wind sailing, things like that. So the 1950s wasn't all that hard for me to rank, but man, when I went through the 1960s, this was difficult. I had to leave out some of my favorite issues, honestly, as far as just aesthetics go. I had to leave some really good first covers off my list. And in the 1950s, I only counted down my top 20 or 25. There was no way I was going to be able to do that for the 60s. So we're going to do the top 40 for the 1960s, and I'm going to break it up into two parts. And so today, this is part one, numbers 40 through 21. And just a reminder, if you didn't see my countdown from the 50s, this ranking is based on my own personal subjective opinion as far as which issues are most collectible and most potentially valuable. So let's get this going. All right, here we go. Counting down, starting with number 40. We have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, still known here as Lou Alcindor. This is actually his fifth cover on Sports Illustrated. He appeared on a total of 29 different Sports Illustrated covers. This is 1969. As I said, it's his fifth cover. And Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, absolute legend, one of the greatest of all time. He's a Hall of Famer. He won 6 NBA championships. He won 6 MVPs, which is the all-time record for the NBA. He was a 19-time All-Star, also a record. He's still the all-time leading scorer as of now in NBA history. He won 3 championships in college. He was 3-time College Player of the Year. He's got a Presidential Medal of Freedom, and ESPN ranked him number 3 all-time on the greatest basketball players list. So this is, with it being his fifth cover, I mean, that's just kind of run-of-the-mill. He's been on 29, but super awesome image, up close. He's got the net around his neck after winning that NCAA championship in 1969 with John Wooden and the UCLA Bruins. And so this is an awesome issue. And this one specifically has only been graded 5 times as of now, and the highest is an 8.5. Number 39, here we have Bobby Hull, 1960. This is his first cover from 5 times that he appeared on Sports Illustrated. Bobby Hull, he's a Hall of Famer. He won 2 MVPs. He was a 12-time All-Star. He was 1-time champion, known as the Golden Jet. He's the father of another great hockey player, Brett Hull. And first cover, 1960, very collectible. Now, one thing that knocks this one down a little bit is it's a painting. I've talked about it before. I'm just not a big fan of the artist renderings whenever it's a first cover as opposed to an in-action photo. I really like those in-action or in-person photos. So to me, that drops this one down a little bit. But hey, 1960s are loaded with some awesome covers, and this one still comes in at number 39 on the list. This issue has been graded 4 times, and the leader is 2 9.0s. Coming in at number 38, we have Jack Dempsey, boxing legend. This is one of the most unique covers on the countdown. Jack Dempsey was only featured on 1 cover. This is it. This is his first cover from 1964. Obviously came years later after, he was an active boxer, but he was a cultural icon. Jack Dempsey was the world heavyweight champion from 1919 to 1926. The Ring, the famous boxing magazine, ranks Jack Dempsey 10th all time on the list of boxers. He drew enormous crowds back in the day. Actually, the very first $1 Million Gate was a Jack Dempsey fight, and he really was one of the first ones to make boxing just grow in popularity. This issue has only been graded 2 times. The current leader is a 9.0. So super awesome issue here, Jack Dempsey, number 38. Coming in at number 37, we have Luis Aparicio. Now, the 1960s had some covers with some incredible photography, and this is probably the one issue that cracked my list almost based on the photography alone. This is Aparicio's third Sports Illustrated cover, so nothing really special about it. You know, he's a Hall of Famer, 10-time All-Star. He won 9 Gold Gloves. He didn't win a World Series, but he's not really considered one of the all-time greats. Even though he is a Hall of Famer, he didn't even crack ESPN's top 100 all-time list. So this issue would not even have sniffed this countdown if it weren't for the fact that this image is just awesome. This is one of my favorite photos on any Sports Illustrated ever. The year's 1962, and, you know, sliding there into third base. It is just, this is incredible photography. So the fact that, you know, Aparicio is a Hall of Famer, and this issue is, you know, all the way back from 62, and the photography, that's what brought this issue onto my list at number 37. Not to mention, there have only been 2 copies of this cover graded, the highest being an 8.5, so it is a very hard issue to find. Number 36, we have the first Sports Illustrated cover for Hall of Famer Lou Brock. This was 1967. This was the first of 5 times that Lou Brock appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated. 6-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion. He finished with 3,000 plus hits. He retired as the all-time leader in stolen bases. He's now second behind Rickey Henderson. And this issue's only been graded 4 times. The leader is an 8.5. Lou Brock, if you don't know, he actually started his career with the Cubs. He was traded to the Cardinals in 1964, probably one of the worst trades in Major League Baseball history. He was traded for Ernie Broglio, who the previous year had actually gone 18-8 with the Cardinals. And he was only 28. He was a pretty solid pitcher, but he was out of baseball by the time he was 30, and he went a combined 7-19 with the Cubs over a couple years. So this cover is from the 1967 World Series, where the Cardinals beat the Red Sox in 7 games. Number 35, we have Minnesota Twins star Tony Oliva with his first and only Sports Illustrated cover from 1965. He is a recent Hall of Famer, just got inducted, and 8-time All-Star. He was MVP runner-up twice. He won 3 batting titles. He's a career 304 hitter. So this is a really beautiful cover. Love the photography here, and this issue has been graded 6 times, with the current highest being a 9.2. Number 34, Muhammad Ali. You're probably going to see this guy come up again on the list. This is Muhammad Ali's 7th cover out of 38 weekly issues that he appeared. And this was from 1965. So we know Muhammad Ali. He is widely considered the greatest boxer of all time. I mean, he's actually just considered the greatest, period. And Sports Illustrated actually in 1999 named him the SI Sportsman of the Century. So this cover in particular, 1965, this is when Ali fought Floyd Patterson for the first time. Floyd Patterson had been a previous heavyweight champion. He lost that title to Sonny Liston, which, you know, many of us know that Sonny Liston is actually who Ali beat to win the heavyweight title for his first time. And in this fight, Ali beat Patterson by technical knockout in 12 rounds. It's described that Ali kind of toyed with Patterson in this fight. He mocked him, he humiliated him, and the referee finally stopped the fight in the 12th round. A New York Times writer actually described the fight by saying that it was like watching someone pulling the wings off of a butterfly. But this is a really cool looking cover. I love the neon lights. You got the black background, and we know that Muhammad Ali is one of the most collectible athletes of all time. So this issue has been graded 4 times, and the current leader is a 9.0. Checking in at 33, we have quarterback Fran Tarkenton. He appeared on 6 Sports Illustrated covers. This is his first cover. This is from 1962. Tarkenton is a Hall of Famer. He was a 9-time Pro Bowler. He was the MVP in 1975. And when he retired, he was actually the leader in all-time passing yards, touchdowns, and completion percentage. This is a beautiful cover. There have been 9 copies of this issue graded, and there are currently 3 9.2s. Number 32, we have Hall of Famer Joe Morgan. This is his first cover. He appeared on a total of 3. This is from 1966. Joe Morgan is a Hall of Famer. He was a 10-time All-Star. He won 2 MVP awards. He won 2 World Series championships. He was a 5-time Gold Glover, and he comes in at number 37 on ESPN's all-time list. He's considered one of the 3 greatest second basemen ever, along with Jackie Robinson, Rogers Hornsby. And most people think of him for his career with the Reds. Here on his first cover, he's with the Astros. This actually surprised me. He spent more seasons with the Astros or with Houston than he did the Reds. He was with Houston for 10 seasons. He was with the Reds for 8 seasons. And actually, the first 2 years that he was with Houston, they were known as the Colt 45. So Joe Morgan, first cover, check in here at 32. Number 31, pitching great Juan Marichal. Marichal only appeared on one Sports Illustrated cover. This is it. This is his first cover, 1965. He's a Hall of Famer, 10-time All-Star. He actually had the most wins of any pitcher in the 1960s. He won 25 games 3 times in a season. And he comes in at number 74 all time on the ESPN list. He never won a Cy Young because he was a little bit overshadowed by Bob Gibson and Sandy Koufax in the decade. But he was up there. He was legendary. He's actually the first foreign-born player ever selected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And this issue shows his famous leg kick. He had that wind up that could not be mistaken for anybody else. Beautiful cover. It's been graded 6 times, and the current leader is an 8.0. Number 30, we got Pistol Pete Maravich. This is his second appearance on the Sports Illustrated cover. He was on it a total of 3 times. This issue is from 1969. Now, Pistol Pete, I mean, this guy, he hasn't played in 40 years. I think he passed away in the late 80s, but he still got street cred. I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't think that Pete Maravich is cool. He's a Hall of Famer. He's more, known for his dominance in college. He's still the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history, and that's in only 3 seasons. He averaged 44 points per game in 3 seasons, and that was before the three-point line. That was also before the shot clock. But he still actually had a productive NBA career. He was a 5-time All-Star. He was the scoring champ in the 1976-77 season, averaging 31.1 points per game. So awesome issue here. It's Pete's second cover. There have been 7 copies of this issue graded, and the current leader is a 9.0. Number 29. This is an interesting issue here. We have 2 Hall of Famers. Ohio State, you have Jerry Lucas. This is his second Sports Illustrated cover. And you have John Havlicek. This is his first Sports Illustrated cover. So Jerry Lucas was featured on a total of 4. Havlicek was featured on a total of 6. And with this being Havlicek's first Sports Illustrated cover, that makes it very collectible. This is from 1961. And let's go over some accomplishments for these 2 guys. So Jerry Lucas, Hall of Famer, 7-time All-Star. He was on the NBA 75th anniversary team. He won a gold medal in 1960. 2-time College Player of the Year. In 1999, Sports Illustrated actually listed their 5-man college team of the century, and Jerry Lucas was on that as one of the 5 greatest college basketball players in the century. John Havlicek, Hall of Famer, 13-time All-Star. He won 8 NBA championships with the Celtics. He was also on the 75th anniversary team. So these 2 were, great players, all-time greats, both in the top 75. And with it being Havlicek's first cover, that that really pushes it onto this list. Havlicek and Lucas, when they played at Ohio State in college, actually were also teammates with Bobby Knight. Kind of interesting. And this issue is super rare. There has only been 1 copy graded, and it is a 7.5. Number 28, we're sticking with John Havlicek here. Now, this is not his first cover, but this is his first solo cover. And that previous one, he's kind of not featured. It doesn't even have his name on the cover. It's just the side of his face standing there right underneath Jerry Lucas. But this one, you've got Hondo right here, and he's prominently featured in front of that cool-looking Celtics banner after they won the NBA championship in 1966. So I think this one was just a notch ahead of his actual first cover because it's his first solo cover, and the image is just a little bit cooler. So once again, this is from 1966. This is the second of 6 appearances for Havlicek on the cover, and there have been 5 copies of this issue graded, with the current leader being a 9.0. Coming in at number 27, I told you that you could expect to see him again, and here he is, Muhammad Ali, still known as Cassius Clay. This is his 3rd Sports Illustrated cover out of 38 weekly appearances, and this is from 1964. So Ali, we talked about how he defeated Sonny Liston to become the heavyweight champion for the first time, and that is this fight. That is what this cover is showing here in 1964. He was actually an 8-1 underdog against Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston was totally feared. Nobody expected Ali to win, but he did. He kind of outlasted him. He used his quickness, he used his feet, and he defeated Sonny Liston here in 1964 to become the heavyweight champion for the first time. And Sports Illustrated actually rated this fight as the 4th biggest sports moment of the entire century. So very cool cover here. This has been graded 5 times, and the current leader is a 9.2. Number 26, we have Rick Barry. This is Rick Barry's first Sports Illustrated cover. He appeared on the cover 5 times. This is from 1967. Rick Barry is a Hall of Famer, 12-time All-Star. He was a scoring champ. He was an NBA champ. He was a Finals MVP. He was named on the top 75 anniversary team. This is a really cool photo. You got the Golden Gate Bridge there in the background. And Rick Barry, he's actually the only person to lead the NCAA, the ABA, and the NBA in scoring. And his 36 points per game is still the most in an NBA Finals in history. He's the only player with 50 points in a Game 7. And he's often known for his underhanded free throw style. He actually retired as the all-time leader in free throw percentage. So this issue has been graded a total of 7 times, and there are currently 2 9.2s. Coming in at number 25, we have another NBA superstar from the 1960s. This is Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor only appeared on the cover twice. This is his first cover. This is from 1966. I love that old school blue Lakers jersey. He's a Hall of Famer, 11-time All-Star. Over his 14-year career, he had an average of 27.4 points per game. And he still holds the record for most points in an NBA Finals game. In 1962, he scored 61 points in an NBA Finals game. This issue has been graded 6 times, and the current leader is a 9.0. Next up, Mickey Mantle. This guy dominated our countdown list from the top covers of the 1950s, and here he is checking in at number 24 on the top covers of the 1960s. This is Mickey Mantle's 6th Sports Illustrated cover. He was on a total of 14 weekly issues. This is from 1962. We know he's an all-time great, Hall of Famer. He won 3 MVPs. He won 7 World Series championships. He won a Triple Crown. He finished with 536 home runs. He won a Gold Glove, 16-year All-Star, and he came in at number 7 on ESPN's all-time list. This is a great-looking photo of the Mick. This issue has been graded 16 times, and the leader is a 9.2. Number 23, we've got our first golfer on the list. No, it's not a combination of iced tea and lemonade, but it is Arnold Palmer, and it is his very first cover on Sports Illustrated. He was on the cover a total of 16 times, and this first cover was from 1960. Arnold Palmer, he won 62 PGA titles between 1955 and 1973. He's 5th on the all-time wins list, only behind Sam Snead, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and Ben Hogan, and he won 7 major championships. He is a legend. This issue has been graded 7 times, and the leader is an 8.0. Number 22, you have Boston legend, it's Carl Yastrzemski. He appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated 4 times. This is his first cover from 1967. Now, you may know 1967 was a pretty big year for Carl Yastrzemski. First of all, he's a Hall of Famer. He was an 18-time All-Star. He won an MVP. He won 7 Gold Gloves, 3 batting titles. He won a Triple Crown in 1967, finished with 3,419 hits plus 450 home runs. He comes at number 61 on ESPN's all-time list. Now, that Triple Crown that he won in 1967, it is the last Triple Crown in Major League Baseball up until Miguel Cabrera won one in 2012. This issue has been graded 7 times, and the leader is a 9.6. And closing out the first half of our top covers from the 1960s, coming in at number 21, we have Bears running back Gale Sayers. He only appeared on the cover 1 time. This is it, 1966. He's a Hall of Famer, 4-time Pro Bowl, 2 rushing titles. He once had 6 touchdowns in a game. Now, his career was cut short due to injuries, but in his prime, he was one of the most exciting and most successful running backs ever. He's actually the youngest person ever to be inducted into the Football Hall of Fame at the age of 34. This issue has been graded 8 times, and the current leader is 9.6. All right, those were some awesome issues, but it gets even better. Make sure you check out the upcoming video counting down the top 20 issues from the 1960s. Now, let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and make sure that you stick around for some trivia. All right, I love to finish my videos with some trivia, so let's see what we got. Last video, I asked the question. There have been about 13 father and son duos who have both been on a Sports Illustrated cover. Of those covers, there are 2 instances where both the father and the son ended up in their Sports Hall of Fame. Can you name either pair? So first, I got to give a big shout out to the amazing Murphinator, because he knew that one of the correct answers was Bobby and Brett Hull, both of which have been inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. The other correct answer was Dale Earnhardt Sr., and Dale Earnhardt Jr. I also need to give a shout out to Victor Toombs. He knew that Jimmy Connors was on the most weekly covers of any tennis player. That was from 2 videos ago. He answered the question correctly. I had already recorded my next video. I just hadn't released it yet. So I need to give him his shout out as well. Really appreciate all you guys leaving comments and leaving your answers on my videos. All right, for today's trivia question, there are 4 current NBA head coaches that have been on the cover of a Sports Illustrated during their time as a college basketball player. Can you name all 4? All right, let me see your guesses. Drop a comment on my video. If you answer correctly, I will give you a shout out in my next video, and we'll see you guys next time.